Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging. Picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV, live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
Welcome, guys. The show is Hashtags right here on VOP TV. This is where I get to all things trending and all things topical. Of course, we'll also do follow-ups to hashtags that broke previously. So it's going to be like an awesome event, an awesome affair. I can promise you that. If this is your first time, please accept a very, very warm welcome from all of the Hashtags team. And if you are already a family member, hey, let's do this thing. My name is Vivian Oguche.
Good evening once again, and welcome to Hashtag, where you get to hear, get the answers to the question what's trending, and we'll definitely be bringing you every single one of it as it unfolds today. Vivian, let's get the ball rolling.
Absolutely. Without further ado, let's get the show on the road. We're beginning with Hashtag EFCC custody. So it was mind-boggling when the news broke that a former Anambra State governor, who also used to be a minister in Nigeria, Chris Ngige, was picked up by the EFCC. Now, prior to his aide coming to make clarifications, there was chatter on and offline that he had been abducted by unknown gunmen. But his aide had to come out to say no, he wasn't abducted, but he was arrested by the EFCC. Now, the EFCC has not really come out to say why, according to his aide. In a short while, you're going to be taking a look at the reporting or the reportage that Premium Times did on this particular one. Their reporter tried to reach the EFCC, but they're saying that the EFCC is remaining silent over this particular matter. But hey, let's go to X so you see the very first post by Daily Post on X. Thank you. Daily Trust, I beg your pardon, says, just in Ngige, EFCC, Ngige in EFCC custody, says aid. We'll go to the next one now. That will be a detailed reporting by Premium Times. And it says, EFCC detains ex-Anambra Governor Chris Ngige. That's coming from his aide. The former governor's arrest and detention by the EFCC occurred exactly 14 days after gunmen attacked his convoy along, Ndemli North local government area of Anambra State. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has detained, Chris Ngige. Premium Times learned that Mr. Ngige, who served as Nigeria's Minister of Labor and Employment from 2015 to 2023, was arrested by some EFCC operatives on Wednesday at his residence on Justice Mohammed Bello Road in Abuja. Let's continue to see what the Premium Times is saying. And it says there were speculations earlier on Wednesday that the former governor was abducted by gunmen in Nigeria's capital. However, Fred Chukwuelube, a media aide to Mr. Ngige, debunked the speculation, explaining that the EFCC picked up the former governor. Now, this is still EFCC custody, but it is now former AG Abubakar Malami, who is actually still in the custody of the EFCC, making it 2 days that he's been cooling his feet in the net of the anti-graft agency. So this is two Buhari boys. That's what they're calling them, two Buhari boys in EFCC custody. So the debate online is this a clampdown on Buhari boys? So let me take you back to what the Punch is saying. That's the Punch. The Punch says the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has detained a former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, SAN, after he failed to meet the bail conditions earlier granted to him. A senior EFCC official who confirmed the development on Tuesday said the former minister would remain in custody until he fulfills the requirements. Quote, "We arrested him for not meeting his bail conditions and he will remain in our custody until he meets those conditions," the official said. Another EFCC source also confirmed Malami's detention, noting that he is being investigated for multiple offenses. Let's continue to take a look at what the Punch is saying. Quote, "He is presently in our custody. He was initially granted bail but did not meet the conditions. The offenses against him are many." Gosh. And this EFCC official goes on to say, "Presently, we are investigating him for 18 different offenses. Some of them are money laundering, abuse of office, and terrorism financing. We cannot put a figure to the amount involved now because we keep uncovering some of the deals as we investigate." End of quote, the source said. So some people or some netizens on X are saying, is this a political witch hunt? Well, let me take you back to X so you see how this particular hashtag is panning out. It's still hashtag EFCC custody. Thank you. Shehu A. Abubakar says this is preposterous. Such a shame that the EFCC is being used as the president's lapdog to intimidate and coerce his political opponents. They aren't even hiding it. Malami has been out of government for over 2 years. The moment he starts associating with ADC, they now go after him. And then he's replying to Jabir, who put up this post. "If you think the anti-corruption charade is not a political witch hunt, read this." And then he tagged the press release by the office of the former Attorney General of the Federation. Let's take a look at that post. That's the next one you're going to take. That's it. So, press release. So this is the office of the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN. After his arrest, they put out this post. Says, Malami did not fail to meet bail conditions or face terrorism financing charges. EFCC revoked his bail over attendance at a political gathering in Kebbi. The office of the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, has noted with concern misleading reports suggesting that Mr. Malami failed to meet bail conditions imposed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. For the avoidance of doubt, Abubakar Malami, SAN, did not default on any bail condition. His bail was revoked by the EFCC following his attendance at a political gathering in Kebbi State, not because he failed or refused to comply with any lawful requirement. There's a concluding part of the post. Let's take a look at it. Goes on to say Mr. Malami was initially granted bail in relation to allegations of money laundering and abuse of office. Allegations he has firmly denied and for which he has provided detailed explanations. Among the subsequent bail conditions imposed by the EFCC were restrictions barring him from granting media interviews and from participating in political activities in Kebbi State. It must be clearly stated that the condition restricting him from participating in political activities in Kebbi, his home state, constituted a violation of his fundamental human rights. including his constitutional right to peaceful association, freedom of movement, and political participation. Imposing such a condition is inconsistent with democratic principles and raises serious concerns about its intent. Between Friday and Sunday, Mr. Malami visited his home state, Kebbi, where he is a prominent political figure and ADC leader. In line with long-standing political tradition, party members received him and he addressed them. This engagement was peaceful, open, and entirely political. On Monday, after returning to Abuja at the invitation of the EFCC, his bail was revoked. It's a lengthy episode, so I didn't go the whole 9 years. But hey, you get the gist of the matter here. So since Monday, he's been cooling his feet in EFCC's net. What do you make of this? Chris Ngige and Abubakar Malami, both ministers under the Buhari administration.
I mean, it's not surprising, first, because, I mean, it's political time where you expect, politicians to start moving from one political party to the other, and also you get to see, politicians also using leverage on other political actors. And like I always say, if you're afraid of fire, you don't have to rub oil close to your body. And if these guys are entirely clean, I don't think they'll be having any conversation with the EFCC. Well, we are waiting to see the end of the investigation and perhaps prosecution of these two men.
So you're saying this is not a political witch hunt?
I'm not going to say it's entirely a political witch hunt, because, like I said, if they don't have baggage, I don't think they'll be there. That's how I see it. So if they obviously have questions to answer according to the EFCC, that's why they're actually there. So let them go and answer their questions. If they come out clean, then of course it is. But then it's also, I think a lot of persons, will find it very funny or interesting because of the times, and of course because Malami a few days ago also declared for the ADC. I think there was a poster of him, being interested in 2027 election and all of that. So all of these things also definitely put a pointer to the fact that, maybe this is a political witch hunt. Because, I mean, if this guy is still in the APC, would this be happening? These are the questions why people will be raising those sort of...
I mean, someone pointed out the fact that Malami has been out of office for 2 years now. Nothing was said until he declared for the ADC.
Absolutely.
And part of what Malami's camp said was that he was asked not to indulge in any political activity, and they're saying that would be a fundamental, abuse of an infringement on his human rights.
100%.
Let's also talk about Chris Ngige. Exactly 14 days after his convoy was fatally attacked in, his state, Anambra.
Yeah.
Thank God he was not even in that convoy. It's when he was arrested again. So you're thinking, as well, if he doesn't have any baggage, he will not be invited?
So again, right, Ngige as a person, is one man who, his political journey has been turbulent, because he's really faced a lot. He was a governor. While he was governor, he didn't even enjoy peace. He's the only governor in this country that has been kidnapped from office as a sitting governor. Lots of things happened under.
That's quite a profile.
Yes, actually. So, and now he left that. He actually lost, his seat as governor when Peter Obi actually, won the case in court and all of that after about 2 years. So it's a lot for the man, and then he became a senator. And now, the Ngige as a person and Malami, these guys are actually people who, during the Buhari administration, are very close to the president. So, and there's a lot of talks about, the El-Rufais, the Ngige, the Malami. These are people who are more like in the same caucus in the Buhari administration. So if an El-Rufai is out, leading the forefront of the ADC, fighting against the president's return to power, of course, it's definitely going to mean that, people like these actors are definitely people who definitely be giving him the backing or supporting him or playing the, cheerleading role from behind. And of course, the fastest way to actually, take out a snake is not even just to go for its head. Sometimes you just have to, start chopping it from where, people will not get to see it. And that's exactly what we're actually seeing playing out. But like I said again, if these guys are entirely clean, I don't think it will be easy for, the politicians or the EFCC to actually come after them. They would have, come through other means where it will be very evident that this guy actually, this is political witch hunt. But then, if someone
how about this thing about if you are in the APC, all your sins are forgiven? So would you say it's only in the opposition that you have politicians with baggage? There are none of them in the ruling APC. But I catch your drift anyway. We'll keep our fingers crossed to see how this particular one pans out. We'll move on now to the next hashtag, which is hashtag Lai Mohammed. former information minister, is making the rounds right now because he was on a televised interview and he talked about a number of things. But chief among them is the talk about the banning of X. It was a Twitter as at when it was banned in Nigeria. It was the late PMB, Lai Mohammed's boss. I'm talking about the late President Muhammadu Buhari, who was at the helms then. Lai Mohammed was the Minister of Information. And as at that time when it happening, the charter was that it was because Twitter, X now, Twitter then had deleted a post put up by President Buhari threatening fire against secessionists, right? So Twitter deleted that post. And shortly after that, Twitter was banned in Nigeria. So the charter then was that it was because President Buhari's post was pulled down. But Lai Mohammed, after years, is coming out to clear the air to say that it wasn't President Buhari who gave the order. It was himself who went to President Buhari to advise him to ban Twitter in Nigeria. And he said the president laughed and asked him, is it because they pulled out my post or pulled down my post? And he said, no, because of, anti-Nigerian activities. This is me paraphrasing now. So I take you to X. Reuters is going to be taking us, down memory lane, so you have, a bigger picture of what we're talking about. But first, let's see what Nigeria Story is saying about this televised interview. Thank you. Quote, I went to President Buhari and asked him, sir, you need to suspend the service of Twitter. He asked me why. He said, is it because they deleted my tweet or it's because they deleted my tweet? I said, no, sir, and gave him an instance and examples. End of quote. So Nigerian Stories was quoting Lai Mohammed. Osat says, what happened to regulating it instead of banning it? There's another reaction to towing this line. They say, blessed sinner, are you kidding me? Yeah, well, you might have a point. Blessed sinner says, bias aside, rationality embarrassed. A country like Nigeria should invest deeply into regulating social media, especially X. And now that Elon has induced monetization of rubbish, I see majority now put food on their table through it. Let's talk about this a little bit. Not too long ago, Senator Ned Nwoko had come out to say that he wanted the social media to be regulated because of what the TikTok liar has said, had said about him, being contracted by the senator to assassinate his estranged wife. The TikTok liar has come out to say that it was a lie, it was just content creation, and he apologized. So do you think this thing about regulating social media is a thing that is truly a toxic place and it should be regulated? If you could talk about that vis-a-vis Lai Mohammed's appearance. All of a sudden, he just came out of the blues and he's talking, right?
So, what I see Lai Mohammed do is to, sadly, I don't know, I just hope I'm wrong, but what I see him do is him trying to actually paint a certain picture. Buhari is more like an enigma in the north, right? Whoever it is that is, singing his praise, even now, is obviously tilting towards a certain direction. The Buhari camp has left the APC, sadly. So if you are singing Buhari's praise now, it obviously means that you're actually tilting towards another angle.
Let me get you clearly. You're trying to say that Lai Mohammed is painting a picture of Buhari as a saint?
No. I'm not saying he's painting the picture of Buhari as a saint. I'm saying that he's actually speaking to, of course, one, to tell Nigerians that he is actually in charge. He actually did it. And then, talking about Buhari in the sense that, whatever it is that happened with, what you're doing, right? It is not about, Buhari. It's basically about me. And now I'm speaking about Buhari in this light, to an average Northerner who is, a grassroots or a core Buhari follower, means that, okay, this is a man who really understands or respects the figure that we all respect, right? Because, Nigerians, for all I care, even now, even after Lai Mohammed saying whatever it is he's saying, and every Nigerian will still believe it's still Buhari, so because the box stops at the decks of the president. But now, Lai Mohammed saying this, politically, what I see, is Lai Mohammed tilting towards, another political party, not the APC.
Like the ADC?
Maybe.
Because Loretta Onoche, who is actually a member of the ADC, not too long ago, put up a post making comparisons between President Buhari and some other leaders. And she was saying how when she actually put up a video of his kitchen cabinet going to visit him in London when he was ill. And he said, this is President Buhari who did what needed to be done by transmitting power to his deputy or his vice, the Professor Yemi Oshibajo, when he was ill, so that is real leadership.
Absolutely. So,
and then people like, you know, his former president, Buhari's media spokesperson, Shehu Garba, have come out to say very beautiful things about the president. So I think I catch you.
So it's about fishing, right? You know, fishing for the big pots in the north to say, hey, because the ADC is obviously very well backed by Northerners as against, you know, the PDP that we want to say a lot of Southerners still very much in the party. So that's exactly what I see like Mohammed do. But let's now talk about the Twitter thing and the banning. I ask people when I hear the word, let's regulate social media, I ask, how do you want to do it? Are you going to come to my house to tell me what to say, how to say it? Is there, are you going to run a certain kind of algorithm saying certain keywords, when you put it on, it should not fly? What exactly, I mean, specifics, because it's easy for you to just say, let's regulate it. How are you going to do it?
That's $1 billion question. So let's ask Australia, which is actually regulating social media right now. And guys, that is our next hashtag, regulating social media. So not too long ago, Australia dropped a bombshell. If you're below 16, some apps on social media totally off limits, right? So let me take you to X so you see this particular hashtag, regulating social media. So RT says Australia, first in world to ban social media to under 16s, goes into effect 10th December. That was yesterday. Government says it's to protect mental health and parents will not be able to give consent. Wow. There's another post. Salem News Channel says, Australia just outlawed social media for kids under 16. At Alex Marlowe says, that's a commentator, says, this could be the start of something bigger, a future where we are less addicted to our phones and more connected in real life. One more, let's take a look at it. Thank you. Amnesty Press says, Australia has introduced a social media ban for children and young people under the age of 16. A growing number of countries are also considering similar bans, but will that make the online world safe for young people? So it is, this is not just a Nigerian thing. So maybe President Lai Mohammed was ahead of his times. This time around, Australia is saying, yeah, I mean, that's my opinion. Well, you have your opinion. I have mine. Yeah. So you can't think like everybody. Everybody can't think like
no. What we are dealing with is age.
Australia is saying this is about mental health, and commentators are coming at it from different angles. So you asked the $1 billion question.
Yeah.
That's why I went to that hashtag.
Yeah.
How can social media be regulated? This is one way.
True. I agree. I mean, this for kids, you get to see it. Even when you want to open social media accounts, certain they'll ask you your age because there are certain things. Even when you want to post content, say for example on YouTube, right? They'll ask you, is this content for kids? You know, because they want to be sure that you're not pushing it to the wrong audience. Because of course, every content, even movies, we have PG, parental guidance. We have not to be seen by a certain age. It is appropriate, right? But then, off the age limit thing, which I also welcome, that of course for certain age you're not supposed to, because of people can post things. You might even be asleep and your child will be on her phone or his phone watching content that is not suitable for her age. But now beyond the age thing, how do you regulate it for an adult that is over 18? How do you do it? Because this is exactly the big question. Now you're saying an outright ban. I mean, a lot of persons even live off social media. That's where their business thrive. So if you're closing it, you're closing people's business, you're closing their income, right? And a lot of persons even find solace in some certain content that they follow, inspirations and all of that. So if you say you want to regulate for adults, I'm not against you, but then give us the specifics.
Yeah, but so if that becomes a thing in Nigeria, there'll be specifics. It's a thing in Australia and also there are specifics.
For age grade.
It's a thing in Australia, so there is specifics. Now, if social media ban becomes a thing in Nigeria, it's not a thing in Nigeria. Definitely will be specifics. On social media, it's very toxic. Now, it has advantages as well as disadvantages.
They can't do it. There's no way you're going to create the specifics.
Well, North Korea actually has a social media ban, does it not?
So that's the
Yeah,
thing.
but is that a yes or a no?
No. If ban, if you say you want to ban social media, right, that's outright. But if you say you want to regulate, it means, yes, it still be functioning.
Does China regulate social media or not?
China, right?
It's a yes, Ikechukwu.
No.
So social media, people use social media in China, but there's regulation.
No,
there are boundaries you can't
There are
cross.
certain social media platforms that, are really not in use in so many countries. That's outright ban. That's right, outright ban. And they have.
But it is not outright ban of social media.
No. Let me explain.
Yeah, I don't want to. Let's not.
Let me explain what. I just want to say something.
Okay.
For example, in countries like China and other part of countries like North Korea, in place of WhatsApp, right, they have something else that they use because they don't want. One of the reasons why they do all of these things in those part of it is because of their what's it called, data. Because they know that these big tech companies, take data and then run it, American government can get access to it. That's why you get to see all of this. So they create stuff like WeChat.
But there's also the control of information dissemination. So it's not just about data; it's about information.
In those part of the world, it's majorly about data.
But it's also about information. Yeah, because I think that's the thing about North Korea and places like China. But hey, let's move on now to another hashtag, which is hashtag Reno Omokri. So Reno is trending because the Senate today screened him. Reno might just become one of the ambassadors that's been, confirmed by the Senate. Now, but we don't have a yes yet for Reno. His was actually, it actually ended or sort of degenerated into, how will I say it now, a troubled session. We saw Senator Undumi and Senator Chomale having a go at it because of Reno Omokri and all of that. So there is not a definite yes from the Senate yet about confirming Reno Omokri as an ambassador, but Femi Fani Kayode, as well as Adam Bazao and a couple of others have been confirmed. They were asked to bow and go. So Reno Omokri is the hashtag we're taking a look at now. And he put up this post and a video accompanying the post. Netizens, of course, are jumping on this one. So let's take a look at the post that Reno Omokri put up. Reno says, from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely thank the distinguished Senate leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, distinguished Senator Sani Bello, and members of the committee, especially distinguished Senators Adams Ashomale and Ali Ndume, as well as distinguished senators from my state, Ede Dafinone, Joel Onawakbo, Thomas, and Prince Ned Nwoko for taking time to screen me today. Special thanks to the SA, to the President on Senate Matters at Sen Bashiladu, CON. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is indeed a place of honor. And then he put up this video. Take a look, guys.
Leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, the distinguished chairman, Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Senator Sani Bello, the distinguished deputy chairman, Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, distinguished members of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, and distinguished senators from my state, Senator Ned, Senator John Onowako, and Senator Ede Dafinone. The special advisor to the President on Senate Matters, Senator Bashir Eladu, CEO. My name is Reno Omokri. I was a special assistant to the President on new media. I'm an author, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Next. And the distinguished leader of the Senate.
All right, so that's the Reno Omokri, and of course, let's get the reactions from our viewers. Let's get to see what the reactions from netizens, I beg your pardon, about this particular hashtag. Of course, Deco Blacker said, mission accomplished with an emoji, LOL, laugh out loud. This is what Reno Mokri sold his integrity for. This what Mr. Reno sold his integrity for what? He laughed again, laugh out loud. Let's see another one. Of course, Aliyu Issa Mohammed said, Reno, you have truly proven yourself to be a dedicated and patriotic Nigerian since you stepped up to serve the nation at this level. You've left the obedient with nothing but empty backing, and your focus and courage speak louder than their tantrums ever could. That was a very big dig on the obedience. Nakbayami Babatunde Esquire, I want to believe he's a lawyer. He said, Ashiwaju has a very big heart. He rewarded one of his fiercest critics and a virtue any aspiring leader should emulate. Congratulations, Reno. I celebrate and rejoice with you. And I have no doubt in your ability and competence to represent Nigeria. We wait to see what Reno will be bringing to the table. And Adeniji Adedayo Solomon says, congratulations, our own and ambassador nominee. No doubt your appointment is a testament to your patriotic stand for Nigeria. We are happy and celebrate your feat, and we look forward to seeing the best of you in your office. Another. And Jerry says, the same you who called P-BAT a druggie, you even said you would never work for this current administration. You're a very shameless man, indeed. And Ayo Adebamowo said, truly, Artificial BAT is the politician with the biggest heart in Nigeria's history. And Big Terry said, hustle finally paid off. That's quite big. And let's get another reaction. All right, so
all right, so we see Jerry there saying, the same you who called P-BAT a druggie. You even said you will never work for this current administration. You're very useless. That's
huge.
That's huge. I couldn't even continue reading it, right? But then Reno put up a post not too long ago to say that what President Tinubu has done is to show him what true forgiveness is about, and all. But it looks like he might or might not scale through. I don't know. What feeling do you have about this? Or what's the feeling about this?
I think if the president wants him to scale through, he will, because the APC controls the Senate. The Senate majority leader, Kwame Bamidele, is very much, in the corner of the president. And these are the people that can actually determine the Senate president as well. I saw Senator Adams Oshomole, who was actually, glorifying and beautifying the virtue of the president as, the fact that he actually appointed someone who is one of his fiercest critics. So all of this put into a context is most likely going to be, a way to actually tell us that Reno will most likely scale through. But then, let's get to see. But I think from where I stand, from what I've seen so far, I think Reno will most likely, scale through this particular screening.
Or he just might not. Let's keep our fingers crossed to see how that one pans out. We'll move on to another hashtag that's trending like mad right now, hashtag Aliko Dangote. So the billionaire businessman just launched a 100 billion naira annual educational scholarship in Nigeria. And Bashir Ahmed was there. He put up a post and then a video. We'll take a look at that. The post first, please. So Bashir Ahmed OON says, today in Lagos, Alhaji Aliko Dangote is launching the 100 billion naira annual education scholarship program of his foundation. The program is designed to reach 155,000 students each year, with an estimated annual investment of 100 billion and more than 1 trillion naira over a 10-year period. Indeed, this landmark commitment will expand educational opportunities across Nigeria. Take a listen to the video Bashir Ahmed put up.
Annual Education Support Initiative. which will actually cost us about 1 trillion naira over the next 10 years, but also to be reviewed on the 5th year. Beginning in January 2026, this initiative will
Well, so you just listened to Aliko Dangote himself talking about this huge initiative which he just, launched. It's big deal, I can tell you. I don't know, Ikechukwu, would you want to come back and jump on this particular one? Because there's another video we're going to be watching in a short while. What do you make of this?
Well, this is beautiful. I mean, when it's education, I really love it. And for, the billionaire who, is like our own Bill Gates here to decide to put his money here, I think it's a lot. It's rewarding to see. At least this is, one of the CSR that companies actually do, corporate social responsibility, to ensure that they give back to the society that is actually helping them thrive in business. And Lagos has been this, hub for business. So doing it here in Lagos makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is telling Lagos State government, thank you very much for actually, allowing me to do business, and also for Nigerians. I mean, Nigerians of all walks of life, live here, and they will definitely be benefiting from all of that. He can obviously go back to his hometown to do similar, but at least he's telling Lagos, this is what it is. Other people do it, not at this scale, because of course, the money is actually not the same, but this is huge. I mean, for him to actually pick education, it's a lot. Some person will pick other programs, sports, or,
entertainment or something.
So
this is not a BB Niger initiative.
This is big.
This is education.
100 billion.
And there are a number of comments online saying that he is actually a detribalized Nigerian. You're thinking whether that's true or not?
I'm not going to say because he did this detribalized. I'm saying this because I've seen people who are very tribalistic. I've also seen people who are even racist, but it does not stop them from doing their CSR. Corporate social responsibility.
Do you have an example?
It's the company. No, company, obviously.
Yeah, but you don't have an example.
Of course, I will not want to mention names. Do you want me to mention names?
Yes, please.
No, come on, I will not do that.
Then, this remains in the realm of speculation.
Okay,
so that's it. But there's another video that Dangote, we caught him on another video saying that he wanted with the whole of his heart to buy Arsenal. You know the league, the club, Arsenal. He said he wanted to buy it once upon a time when Arsenal was struggling. He actually was going to buy it. But he said he thought about it. That was when he was building his refinery. So he decided, look, if I go and buy Arsenal now, I might not have enough money to complete my refinery. He was saying this and all. So he said he shelved the buying of Arsenal so that he could complete his refinery, mega refinery, which is also located in Lagos here. Why don't you take a listen to him?
That time has passed. And the last time when we had this interview, I told you that, yes, as soon as I finish with the refinery, I'm going to try and buy Arsenal. But the issue is that, everything has gone up. And the clubs too, they are all doing very well. Arsenal is doing extremely very well. That time, Arsenal wasn't doing well. I think, I don't have that kind of excess liquidity to go and buy a club for $4 billion, so to speak, and use it as a promotional something. And I'd rather do something with the money. What I will do, I will continue to be the biggest fan of Arsenal. I watch their games every day. Anytime that they are playing, I will watch. So I will remain a major supporter.
All right, so it is no state secret that he is an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. This was a couple of years ago when he actually was going to buy Arsenal. When you heard that Dangote was bidding for Arsenal, what went through your mind?
Well, at the time, a lot of us were like, okay, put your money, help sponsor the league in Nigeria. A lot of things came up, but one of the reasons why he actually didn't get the Arsenal thing was that from Arsenal, the other side, they were not really open to actually selling, because that was when Arsenal was actually trying to move to Emirates. There's a project going on. They were not actually buying big players. They're actually promoting young players from the academy.
And they were actually struggling then.
Yes, at the point they were struggling, in terms of what they were actually doing in the league. But they were constant going to Europe. I'm talking about Champions League. But if Arsenal wanted to sell at the point, indeed they would have. But the truth is, they were not really ready to actually sell out, at least of all to, someone far away, somewhere in Africa.
Yeah, but if you continue to listen to that interview, Aliko Dangote was saying that if he wanted to, he would have bought Arsenal for $2 billion as against $4 billion. If you listen, maybe you should go check out that particular interview, to the end. But let me bring you back to the crux of the matter. He said why he actually did not even pursue the matter was because he weighed options, that he was building a refinery in Nigeria and that he did not have that excess liquidity to invest in a club. Because he thought about it. Buying a club is more promotional, but building a refinery is about building the nation and all. So he decided to settle for building the refinery.
Obviously, refinery will give you long-term gain, a lot. Aside the fact that, your club side, yeah, you can actually have good success. Maybe this season, maybe next season, or 3 seasons in a row, you won't even get a lot because your club might be struggling. Top players may not even come. It depends. It's a lot of, managing a football club, right? And the kind of money that you make, as, someone running the biggest refinery in the world, I don't think can be compared to, what you get as, owning a football club. But I think that's actually a very smart decision from Aliko Dangote to actually do what he actually did. Because now refinery, you get to do a lot of things. You can even export to other countries like he's managed to do now. That was a huge thinking. And for a man who is quite passionate about Arsenal, I think it must have taken a lot from him to actually arrive at a decision, looking at both the refinery and Arsenal's project, which is going to be more profitable. Because forget whatever it is he's saying, in the end, he definitely will be looking at the end product of the both of them, right? Whether it is, this one is going to cost more money to actually set up or not, or what he's going to be looking at as a businessman is which is going to give me more money. Mm-hmm. And obviously, this is what will give him more money. And of course, it's going to be more secured because now, whatever it is, this is Nigeria, the refinery is situated here, he's not going to be facing any sort of government coming after him because certain Nigeria messed up. Case in point, the former owner of Chelsea, Roman Abramovich, is actually a Frenchman. It's actually a Russian. And when the Russia-Ukraine incident happened, the English government took the club away from him, and that's how exactly he lost it, to someone else, right? Because he's a Russian and he's a very close friend of Vladimir Putin. So you see, this sort of things can actually happen. Maybe, he owns an Arsenal, for example, and tomorrow, someone say, okay, Nigeria did this, you're a very good friend of the Nigerian government. Because I want to spite the Nigerian government, I'll come after you, and you're going to lose Arsenal. And, it's going to be quite painful. So this is a smart move for him. So
you were saying earlier on that he probably would have taken a look at what would probably be more profitable to him. But if you watch the complete interview, he also was thinking about human capital, right? The refinery is one of the largest employer of labor as we speak right now. So that too was foremost in his mind. Not too long ago, this same Dangote came out to say that billionaires in Nigeria, billionaires, rich people should invest in building the nation rather than buying expensive cars. That news made headlines a couple of days ago. No, not weeks, a couple of days ago. It's not old. So he also said it was about human capital. Absolutely. The truth is, men who beat America, I think we've talked a bit about it here at some point. There are actually 5 men. The steel magnate, Robert Ngige, the financial guru, the financial guru, JP Morgan, the refinery expert, J.D. Rockefeller. We can go on and on, look at all of these men who actually built America. They set up America on a plane, and then the government, jumped on it, help, start making money from there, and then start building infrastructure and all of that. So if our billionaires starts to jump on, certain, parts of, the country economy, definitely it's going to help the economy and the country jumpstart. For example, he's taking over the refinery. Let's say, for example, he is now the J.D. Rockefeller of Nigeria. Someone can actually step up the plate and say, you know what, I want to change the Nigerian financial situation and then change whatever it is as regards finance, make Nigeria, top 10 or top 5, country when it comes to finances. For example, Switzerland. They really do not. One of the things they bank on is their banking system. They have arguably the strongest banking system in the world. I mean, you hear how politicians go and dump monies in the Swiss bank. Accounts, so we can. Someone can actually jump on it and then set it up, and we have our own JP Morgan in that person. So we can look at all of these things. I think this one is actually a couple of weeks ago. Dangote was actually planning, jumping into the steel.
right? So again, that's where I would have expected someone else to actually jump in and then set that ball rolling. You pick different parts, electricity, you do this, and all of this behemoths in this particular industry will definitely set the country on the right path. Because trust me, every country that is doing so well, right, so well, are countries where you see billionaires that really start the country, and the government only just play a supervisory role.
So development basically is not a totally government thing.
No, the government just is supervisor.
The private, people as well would have to, step in to help build a nation. Yeah.
That's why they say the primary job of a government is to secure life and property, because they know security belongs to you. But just leave business. Let the market force determine it. Create the enabling environment. Business will thrive.
Would you say this administration is doing well on that front, like allowing the private sector to thrive?
Well, I mean, for me, as far as I'm concerned, how you measure it is the number of companies that's come into the country and the number that's left.
Have you seen new entrants?
Well, so far so good. I've really not seen new entrants, so that's exactly why I'll be pegging it.
So you talked about Dangote investing in the steel industry in Nigeria. He's putting in fact, he has paused that initiative. Maybe because of the fight he had to really fight, to bring his refinery on board and all of that. I mean, because look at Ajaokuta Steel Company. It's moribund, but there was monies that was sunk into that particular place. Now, what Dangote is doing is also spreading his investment across Africa. It's not just Nigeria. Yeah. We've seen him, invest millions of dollars in other countries. But we'll continue to see how, this pans out, right? Sure. Yeah, and on that note, we wrap this particular one up. Thanks to everyone who contributed to making the show. Bigger thanks goes to you guys for watching. If you had fun, keep a date with Ikechukwu and I for another edition of Hashtags. Until then, I am Vivian Oguche, and bye for now.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
The 2564 Atlantic.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation scope. The sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports,